Hello, my friends. Welcome to my home. Welcome into my heart. Whatever time of day it is for you, I'm inviting you to join me as I take my spiritual pulse. And I thought you might like to as well. So if you have about 15 minutes, just to put down whatever you're carrying, mentally, physically, emotionally, to settle yourself into this moment of now, and join me on this soulful adventure with our good friend Mark Nepo and his book of Awakening. I'll just wait and see if anyone else is able to join live. And while that's happening, I just wanted to share a quote that really inspired me to continue with doing these check-ins with myself, but also inviting you to join me. And so this quote by Pema Chodron reads, "When we resist change, it's called suffering. But when we can completely let go, not struggle against it, we can embrace the groundlessness of our situation and relax into its dynamic quality. That's called awakening. An enlightenment, an awakening to our true nature, our fundamental goodness. Not always easy. I understand. And being in that in-between phase, perhaps you've gone through some change and are processing that, still trying to find your footing, not knowing exactly where the path is leading. So this in-between stage, this liminal time. And really it's at these moments, these times, that it is so important that we're able to stop and connect to that voice within, that inner wisdom that is going to guide us through. And that's what I find having spiritual practices like this, guided meditation, help me. And so I'm really inspired to share this passage with you today as we create a sacred space for our souls to find ease, nourishment, peace, and inspiration. And so my intention for this practice is that you will awaken to that beautiful voice within. The voice of God, the voice of the universe, the voice of your soul, whatever you would like to call it. That you will receive whatever you need simply by being present here, or perhaps asking, what is life telling me now? And that you will be able to take action, inspired action, in the direction of your call. And during this time of blossoming, of new life, the season of birth, may our collective energy help to release the old, welcome the new, and generate more connections, more love, more peace, more unity in our hearts, in our homes, in our countries, our communities, and beyond. And so now I invite you to take a few deep, cleansing breaths and settle into this beautiful passage that I just opened the page to when I came back from the gym today. I just simply knew that my soul needed some refreshment. I turned to a passage, and it's called To Be Awake. And these even breaths in and out, they help settle our nervous systems so that we can be open to receive the wisdom. To be awake. There is always purpose in being, but not always being in purpose. I'll repeat that. There is always purpose in being, but not always being in purpose. How easily we get caught up in defining who we are in relation to those around us. I remember walking home from school in the 4th grade when I noticed Roy, a classmate I didn't really like, walking at the same pace as me on the other side of the street. Until I noticed Roy, I was lost in the joy of walking home, free of school, not yet enmeshed in the anger that awaited me inside my house. But once seeing Roy, I began, without a word, to walk faster, to try to outwalk him. He, of course, sensed this immediately and picked up his gait. As he strode ahead of me, I felt lacking and so stepped up my gait. Before I knew it, we were both racing to the corner, and I felt that if I didn't get there first, I would be a terrible failure. I have lived enough in the world to know by now that this is how our ambitions evolve. We first find ourselves alone in the joy of what we're doing, but somehow there are suddenly others along the way, and we lapse into the breathless race of comparison. And then we are hopelessly running to avoid being termed a failure. From here, we often latch onto the nearest goal as a purpose. If we can't find one nearby, we are thought to be adrift. But our lasting sense of purpose is in our breathing, in our being. As the humanitarian Carol Hedges reminds us, our purpose is that which we most passionately are when we pay attention to our deepest selves. So, underneath all our worries about careers and jobs and retirements, our purpose really comes down to living fully, to being a light with who we are beneath all the names and titles we are given or aspire to. Imagine Buddha in his moment of enlightenment, of being lighted from within. I doubt if he knew he was aglow. In fact, when Buddha rose from under the Bodhi tree, it is said a monk approached him in utter amazement at his luminosity and asked, "O Holy One, what are you?" "You must be a god." Buddha, not thinking of himself as anything but present, answered, "No, not a god." And he kept walking. But the dazzled monk persisted. "Then you must be a diva." And Buddha stopped and said, "No, not a diva," and kept walking. Still, the monk pursued him. "Then you must be Brahma himself." At this, Buddha simply uttered, "No." Then The monk, confused, implored, "What are you? Tell me, please, what are you?" Buddha could not repress his joy and replied, "I am awake." Can it be that our purpose, no matter whom we run into, no matter what we are told, is simply to be awake? I invite you to take a few more breaths. I'll repeat that question. Can it be that our purpose, no matter whom we run into, no matter what we're told, is simply to be awake? And now, in the silence of your heart, in that inner sanctuary you have created, quietly meditate on the things that have come to define you. Feel what you do with your days and say, "I am more than my job, my position, feel where you sleep your nights and say, "I am more than where I live." Feel who you love and say, "I am more than my relationships." Feel all you have suffered and say, "I am more than my history." Feel your very name and say, "I am more than my name." Take a few more breaths in and out. Feel your breath enter and leave your heart and say, without history or name, "I am the flame of life living in this body." I am the flame of life living in this body. Take a few more deep breaths, my friends, my soul family, returning to your surroundings. With this deep, unshakable, unwavering knowledge and understanding of who you are, the flame of life living in your body. Thank you for joining me. I'm so grateful to be companioned and to be companioning you on our soulful adventure. And many blessings to you today. Until next time.